Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Just the Tip episode 2. Today we're going to talk about racing at Caulfield on the 24th of September 2016, betting strategy, and just a quick review of last week's tips. Now, St. Valerian ran really nicely for us, unfortunately finished third, but ran faster sectionals than the winner, definitely something to watch. Barcelona got there as a nice little safer bet. In race 4, we ended up on Alaskan Rose, nice little 15 to 1 pop to get us going. Junior Burger, very plain, needs to get out and wide. Miss Promiscuity, forget, she was just very poor in the race. Keener Ray was really good for us, just got there by a nose, which was lovely. Real Love, unfortunately didn't get there for us, but that's okay, follow her next start. Here's our Rocky, big stake on her, big win, couple of lengths, easy home. And in race 10, Foundry, who almost got there, looked the winner with 200 to go and got beaten by a 41 to 1 pop. So now let's go to our betting strategy. What you want to first work out is how much money you have to spend for the day. Let's say it's $100. Now you want to divide that equally over all the races that you'd like to bet on. But first, I think you should start with the smaller stakes. You want to take the $5 each way, your $10 each way, and build your bank from the start. So at the beginning of the day, I like to do a few things. One is each way bets. So I like to hit something with 6 to 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1, but $2 something to place. And I like to use a strategy called 1 to 3 betting, where you put one stake on the win and 3 or triple that on the place. So that even if your horse runs second or third, that you're still getting a nice little win to build up your bank at the beginning of the day. So, race 1. Now, I've landed on number 4, Super Cash. It only finished 1.6 lengths of the Don't Doubt Mama in the autumn, and I think that if it runs really nice first up, that's going to be the horse you should be on. Now, I've looked a little bit elsewhere because that 350 is really rock bottom price and maybe a little bit short, especially early in the day. So, number 6, Magic Alibi, and number 8, Foreign Affair. Number 6, Magic Alibi, had no luck in Sydney last start and got very close. And what I did like about it is that it boxed on really strong even when it got squeezed up. Now at that $6 price, it's, double your odds of Super Cash. Might not be as good a horse, but definitely something to look at if you're looking to build a bank early in the day. And number 8, Foreign Affair. Now, it stuck on really nicely its last start and finished really strong behind Catch a Fire. Now, to link some form into that, Catch a Fire then went up in the Let's Elope Stakes against Don't Doubt Mama, finished 1.2 lengths behind it. And as I said before, Super Cash finished 1.6 lengths behind Don't Doubt Mama in the autumn. Now, obviously, it's very hard to compare the races, different times of the year and everything like that. But if you're looking at a guide, getting that $14 is really nice. Race 2, I've ended with Black Tomahawk. Now, I quite like its last 4 starts, even though they've been second every single time. And let's be honest, I've been on it every single time. But this time, Craig Williams jumps off. Now, I'm sure he's sick of coming second every time, but putting Mickey D on gets that slight claim. 1.5 kilos might be the difference for this horse coming second and coming first. Now, $4 is, right on the edge of bettable or not, but definitely if you're looking at that 1 to 3 strategy, it's really good because he's finished second his last 4 starts. Now, looking at a little bit more value, I like number 8, the Bandit. Now, its last start was really impressive, and as I said, Craig Williams jumped off with Black Tomahawk to get onto this horse. So if you're following a jockey, definitely something you look at is the Bandit. Now, $4.80 is a much better price than you're getting for Black Tomahawk, but I'm not sure. I listened to an interview with John Sadler during the week, which is the trainer of the Bandit, and he said that he really wanted to give him a run in the naturalism. Now, he feels like the horse is 1 run behind where it should be, and it's targeting that Bart Cummings race in a week's time, so I'm not sure. Might be just 1 run too early, but when you're getting $4.80, it might be something to look at as well, but I still think Black Tomahawk is the bet for this race. Race 3. Now I've landed on number 1, Royal Rapture. Now this horse just keeps winning. It's won its last 3 starts and it's probably just going to win this one as well. Now with the Ben Allen claim of 3 kilos, gets that 61 nicely down into the mix, and I think it's just going to keep rolling. The horse runs really well, gives itself every opportunity to win at the top of the straight, and if you want to give a sight for your money, definitely something to be on. Now looking a little bit elsewhere, Mahani, number 6, had a nice win last start. Kicked away on the straight at Moonee Valley though, so there may have been a slight track bias being at the front, but it beat Foundry, which I tipped in last week, who finished a really nice 3rd in the last race. And because it's on speed with a claim, it's going to be very close again. Definitely something for Royal Rapture to have to beat in the straight. And the other horse I like is number 4, Big Memory. Now, it wanted to run in the Balaclava Cup, got scratched in the morning, ended up in Melbourne last week, ran really nicely. It was a strong place, but coming out to the 1700, probably, it's a little bit short of its best distance. But at their each way price, $8, it'll be in the mix again. Race 4 is basically a bunch of hacks. Now, I wouldn't back any horse in this race. It doesn't matter how much you want to give me free money to bet on it. I don't care. I'm not backing anything in this. You're looking at Pay Up Bro at $2.60. How is that horse at $2.60? Its last start was at 1,400 meters. It won easily, but jumping up 600 meters is not a recipe for a win. And same with So Willie. Coming down from Sydney is probably your best bet at the $5 mark, but even so, never run over the trip before. Not even sure if it's going to make it. You can pick anything in the race, probably won't hit. It's the stupidest race. Fucking donkeys. Anyway. Race 5 is the Guineas Prelude. Now, I like quite a lot of horses in this race, 7 in fact, but I'll give you a justification for each of them and then you can pick the one that you like the most. Now, personally, my money is on number 1, Whispering Brook. Now, its last start was very impressive, top weight behind Marius, hit the front from an outside barrier, it draws outside again, so you know it's still going to get across, and it looked fantastic. It was unbeaten in Western Australia, and its first start in Melbourne was great, and I think if the horse takes nice progression from that, it's going to be the one to beat. But there's definitely a field of horses right behind it that you could get on. Now, number 11, Leote. Now, you're getting $4.40 for Leote. You know, it's a good price, and if it's definitely sweeping and running on from the back, Leote is the horse you want to be on. Look at this last replay, fantastic sectionals, and with a month in the paddock, it's had a nice little break, and it's back and it's ready to win. It's probably about 90% fit, but definitely on this one, if you're looking to get away from the favourite, that's where I would go. Now, the other horses I like, number 2, Miss Rock. Forget her last start. It was very plain, very average, but this horse is very hit and miss. One day it'll be there to race, the next it won't. Have a look at its last replay and you'll see that, you know, it wasn't there. But going 2 starts back in Sydney, you'll have a look and that horse comes out, wins strong, wins dominant. If it runs like that, we'll be very close. Number 3, Samara Dancer. Now, I really like this horse. This is where my money is on for the Guineas because this horse is a big filly, hits the line strong, and looks fantastic in the yard. Now, her first start was fantastic, up the straight, ran a nice third. We'll come on again for this race, and then obviously we'll peak third up. I really like this horse for the Guineas. Maybe a place chance this time around, but from an outside barrier, it's going to be really hard. Number 5, I Am a Star. Now, this horse was fantastic in Melbourne, and why they scratched it to head up to Sydney, I'm really not sure. It ran on well, came 4th or 5th, and it was, you know, it was a good sight, but definitely not up to the standard of the Sydney 3-year-olds this year. Now, it comes back down to Melbourne, and it's got a really good chance in this race. If it runs up to what it was doing before it went up to Sydney, then I give it all the chances in the world, and especially if you get a good track, fantastic. Number 12, Sebring Dream. Now, I really like this horse. Michael Walker jumps off now, but I think through suspension. And what he said when he got off the horse last start was, this horse will never be beaten at 1,600 meters. It had a really nice third last start, and I think that if it keeps progressing the way it will be right there in the money at the end of the race. And the last horse I like, which is at big odds, and I don't think will do a lot in this race, is number 4, La Luna Rossa. Now, it's a New Zealand filly with a little bit of talent. I watched all of its replays, and it gets a little bit soft in the straight, you know, hits the line okay, but has won a fair bit of money and has beaten Saraceno, which is one of the favourites in the next race. Now, if you take a form line through that, then this horse looks the goods, and at $17, might be worth, you know, adding to your trifectas and things. If you watch its replays, it likes to chase. It gets, you know, one out, one back, but likes to chase the winner home. But as soon as it levels up, you know, it gets a little bit weak. It doesn't really know how to hit the line strong. Has a bit of a fear of the winning post. I think probably with a set of blinkers would be much better. Focus the horse up in the straight, make it hit the line strong. But with no gear change for this one, I'll be sticking away from it. Race 6, I've landed on number 3, Seaburge. Its last 2 starts have been very impressive, but with absolutely no luck. 4th in both of them. And I really like its last start. If you just watch it, it gets into a bit of trouble, but it comes back inside. It hits the line very, very strong, and definitely something to follow into this race. And when you're getting $9, it's probably definitely worth the each way. And that 1 to 3 strategy, if you're still using it then, is worth it because you're getting $3 the place. The other horse I like is number 9, Evacuation. Now, it's a Gay Waterhouse horse. All the 3-year-old Sydney form is much better than the 3-year-old Melbourne form, so probably definitely the one to be on in this race as well. Now, it's quite short, but its last start was very impressive against not that good opposition, but has a lot of scope for improvement. So if it runs up to that and progresses, probably the one to beat. But I really like 3 as your bet and 9 as your saver. And also, a little watch on 6 and 1. If Samara Dancer runs really well in the race before, 6 and 1 is definitely something you should add in because the form lines add up together. Race 7 is the Sir Rupert Clarke. Now, I really like number 6, Counter Attack. Now, it's at rock bottom price right now, but I still think it is the bet of the day. The only thing I have wrong with it is it's its own worst enemy. It gets behind, gets stuck, but if it gets out, it deserves its Group 1 chance. It was held up last start. If you watch the replay, it gets out late and almost snatches it away from the stablemate. Chris Waller has pushed this horse hard in the media this week, and I really think that it deserves a Group 1, and that's why it's going to be my back of the day. The other horse I like is number 7, Voodoo Lad. Gets in with a nice light weight and has a real strong chance. Now, if you watch this trial during the week, it gets back and runs on exactly how it did at its last start. So it could be a little bit of a change up for the horse who normally runs on speed. Runs the same again, it's probably going to be close. Had a fantastic closing sectional speeds and beat Keen Array, who I backed in last week. Race 8, I really like number 6, Awesome Rock. Now, if you go on its last start, this horse is the one to beat. If you listen to an interview with Troy Corsons during the week, he says that it's a bit scary how good this horse has come on. Now, if you take his word for it, this horse will be very hard to beat. Now, the only question I have is at 1800 meters, if it's going to beat Black Heart Bar or not. And the other horse I really want to back in here is number 11, Lucia Valentina. You definitely know that she's going to run the trip, but you're only getting double the price of the favourite, so Awesome Rock is probably going to be the bet here. Race 9. Now, I really like number 12, Hellbent. If you listen to the stable, they've been quite bullish this week about its chances. They didn't know what the gate was going to be in the early interviews during the week, and he has drawn wide, and that's my only concern. $4, you're kind of playing with it a little bit, but if he drifts a little bit, I'm going to be putting a big stake of my money on here too. And the one danger, I think, is number 1, Shidell. Definitely has each way claims, especially at the 750, and I think that if you go by its last start where it hit the line quite strong, then definitely something to follow in this race too. Beautiful, and that's it for racing on the 24th of September 2016. And that's it for racing at Caulfield for this week. Thank you. Tips. Goodness.
Okay. All right.